We're really excited about the Portfolios of the Poor book and its publication. It's the best book in a long time to come out about our topic, the things we care about. It helps us get focused on clients. The financial diaries research, which lies at the heart of Portfolios of the Poor, was a terrific exercise. It took many, many months where interviewers sat with the families every couple of weeks and talked about every single transaction that happened over that week or two. And so by the end of several months or a year or 18 months, you really have a great picture of all the money coming in and going out of a family. And it turns out that people have very complex and sophisticated financial lives. And they spend a lot of time and energy organizing themselves to have money when they need it, where they need it. On average, they're using something like 8 or 10 different ways to save money, so when they need to do something, they have it. They borrow, they save, they give money to friends to hold or family to hold. It's an incredible variety and richness of ways in which people kind of cope. It's really important for us in microfinance and people who care about financial inclusion to understand this much more nuanced view of the financial lives of the poor, because there are ways to be very helpful and have great impact in the poor that are not just simply giving them a loan so that they can invest in their business. An awful lot of what people need to do is to organize their money to meet basic daily human needs, and they don't really have a good place to do it. They don't have access to banks to keep money, so they bury money in the mud under the house, or they give their money to someone to hold, or they have to borrow at pretty high interest rates to do simple things, for which a savings account might be a lot better answer, or a small insurance policy might be a better answer. So by looking at the kind of research done that stands behind the Portfolios of the Poor, we ought to be able to do a whole lot better design of products. We ought to have a new generation of thinking about how you reach many, many more people with products that are going to be useful. So we're very, very excited about the book. Very well written, and it's kind of real tangible stuff that I think will be a great guide. There's a woman in the book, Sultana, who has an income of about 32 cents a day. She has 20 different loans, savings accounts, financial relationships to manage her family of 5 on just a tiny little bit of income in any given day. One of the things we kind of don't realize in microfinance is how much money flows through families in any given year. So you tend to think, well, someone as poor as Sultana, who only has 32 cents a day of income, must not really have any money around. We also think of her in terms of credit. We think, well, she has such a tiny income, she's going to need just a very tiny loan. And that's about all we think about. When actually one of the things that Portfolios of the Poor book does, and the research behind it, is it points out the volume of the flows of money through these informal financial instruments. And it turns out that people pull about 60% of their annual income through different variety of financial services. And that's actually a pretty big opportunity. So even in Bangladesh, people living on $1 a day are pulling $900 a year through financial services of one sort or another. That feels like a really different opportunity than saying, well, she only has that income and we can only make a tiny little loan. There's all sorts of ways in which those $900 that flow through those products can be made a lot more efficient. If she's saving by buying animals, oftentimes animals get sick, or they're not really, or if you have to sell them in a hurry, you don't get a good price for them. If you have to pay for something at the last minute, you sell it for 20% of what it's worth. So the insights from the book help us to think about all the very small, tiny little opportunities to be helpful, instead of the kind of the great big investment sort of opportunity that you think about when you think about microcredit. Nowadays, with the advent of mobile banking and using cell phones for banking, or using point-of-service terminals in mom-and-pop stores to connect people to the banking system, we have a historic opportunity to be helpful with the lots of the tiny, small, little transactions that people need. I think this is a fascinating book for anybody that's interested in the financial lives of the world's poor. It's not technical, it's not full of jargon, it's very real, it's very human. It's got lots of stories about kind of how people get by. So if you're interested in all and how most of the world lives, this is just a great read. It's not really just for financial service people at all. I think most people who would get a kick out of reading it.